Hello. I thought, why not do another allotment video? It's the middle of October. It's Friday the 13th. Well, I didn't know that. Friday the 13th of October, and I'm on the allotment, planting, sowing my broad bean seeds. So, as everybody probably knows and can see, it's been a very mild October. We had 26 degrees a few days ago this week, and today it's about 17, although the forecast is going to get cooler and colder at night. So yeah, apparently. Anyway, so I wanted to show and record and remember what the allotment looks like in October. I mean, it's quite strange because it feels quite late in the year, and yet it's still, you can see it's very verdant this year. There's lots of stuff, and we'll have a wander around. So to start off with, so in the spring comes the huge growth from the rhubarb, and it looks amazing and umbrella-like. And today, there it is. So the rhubarb's asleep, just going to sleep, and you can see some of the leaves from earlier in the summer. So that's resting now, and will be bursting forth in the spring. What I've got over here is a metal bath. So I inherited from my dad, my amazing dad, my wonderful dad. I inherited this year, sadly, but anyway, I inherited two metal baths, and I've not been able to grow garlic in the allotment because I've got white rot. So what I'm doing here is I've been growing carrots in them so far this year, just with some general compost in there, and I've now put some garlic in. So hopefully next summer there'll be some garlic, unadulterated by white rot, that I can harvest, and that's the way forward for me, I think, in terms of garlic. So yeah, so that's in there. I also found a couple of weeks ago a baby newt in there, which is very exciting. So it had crawled in there, it had hatched out in the pond, I assume, because there aren't any other ponds for quite some way. Tiny little thing, and it appeared in this container. So yeah, very lovely. Anyway, so yes, in terms of other things, so I mean, a massive success this year, I think they've liked the rain, is the chard. I mean, look at that, a forest of green goodness. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. We've been eating loads of it, and it just keeps on coming. It'll go all through the winter. It'll stop growing, but it'll still be there to harvest for the winter. I'll probably need to protect it a little bit from the pigeons, so that we don't get morbidly obese pigeons flapping about trying to take off here, because if they eat all that, they'll certainly be the right pickle. But yeah, lots of, just a forest of it, and it's been really delicious this year. Really good. And you can see, I mean, a lot of things have finished, and we've got the sort of end of season feel. This is Nicotiana sylvestris, I think. Yeah, the big tall tobacco plant, which just seeded itself. I sowed it last year, didn't sow it this year, just seeded itself, and it's had these beautiful, when you can see how tall it is, it's about 4 foot tall, something like that, with these lovely white flowers. You can just about see the end of the flowers, but I've got loads of, you can see why it seeded itself, so loads of seed pods here full of, well, lots and lots of seeds, and they're very sticky. Actually, it's quite interesting, very sticky pods. But I'm going to be putting them over there in the bed that goes alongside the allotment, a lot of them, so we can get hopefully a forest of Nicotiana growing over there. Really nice for bees, I imagine for moths as well, because they're sort of night scented, I think, and lovely, healthy plants. I mean, look at that. I mean, if I can show you a seed, can you see the seeds? Those are the seeds. From that to that in only a few weeks. Amazing. So that's that. I've got over here, I've got some cabbage, some spring cabbage, doing okay. Probably a bit late, but we'll see. And this is where I'm preparing the, I mean, it does look lovely, doesn't it? Preparing the seed beds for broad beans. I'm going to put 4 or 5 rows in here, and 4 or 5 rows in here. I'm putting them where I've grown potatoes this year, just to add a bit more nitrogen and nutrients to soil, and also yeah, I usually put potatoes in quite early and the broad beans aren't ready there, so I try and plant them where I've not had potatoes, to make sure that they don't need to, they don't hog up space that I need. So yeah, so that'll be, so it's aquadulce. I've got aquadulce and super aquadulce I'm going to be planting in there. And then over here, the success. So a very lovely friend of mine from college, Tammy, brought me some nasturtium seeds back from New York. So these have travelled a long way. These have got an American accent, and look, they have just loved it. They've covered everywhere. You can see them. They're even going through that cage to the raspberries, and they are lovely, because once they get going, I mean, they're beautiful things. The bees love them. They cover the ground. I'm just going to try and leave them as long as possible, because they're like a green manure almost, so they're protecting the soil and everything. So yeah, really, really lovely. Seeds everywhere, so I expect quite a few next year, but you probably can't see, but there's still a bee in the middle of there going in and out. So yeah, really, really lovely. And then all that's left really on this side still is another load of chard there, which is beautiful, and there's a bit of basil, so I'm just clearing a bit of that area. In fact, I'm going to put the other broad beans in there. Sorry, yes, I'm going to put some in here and some in there. I'm going to clear that and do that. You can see the lovely blueberry plants going autumnal red, really, really lovely. I've had them in containers. I'm going to transplant them, add some ericaceous compost, because they like acidy soil. So add some ericaceous compost to some holes, and then I'm going to plant those probably over here as well. In amongst my hedge, by the way, I've got this really nice ivy, which until very recently, I think the flowers are just about finished, but it's been caked in bees, all sorts of insects, really enjoying them. So we'll get lots of berries, which hopefully the birds will enjoy as well later. Then this is a bit of a jumble, but a lot of this, most of these now, are things I've sown. So the verbena here, I think Rebeccae, a lot of stuff here is now, there's verbascums in there. I've sown quite a lot of this. What I've done here, there's Viper's bugloss, a beautiful wildflower that bees really, really love. That seeded itself by the greenhouse, so I've taken off all the sort of the stems and the seeds and just plonked them in a patch here, hoping that that will come up again next year. It's a biennial, so it won't flower to the following year, but it'd be lovely if I can develop a patch of them here. I've also got the wild mallow growing over there. I've transplanted that because it grows everywhere. I've got some teasels, all sorts of things, more teasel over there, and then we've got some geraniums here. So this is it's a bit wild, to be honest, but also lots of lovely plants for everything's here is supposed to be for bees and insects and pollinators. There's borage in there as well, and it does pretty well actually. It needs a bit of tidying, a bit of managing to make sure that nothing becomes particularly dominant, but nice. And then over here as well, oh look, I just pulled that stem up. I didn't realise there was a pumpkin there, a little tiny one. I shall have that. Yes, anyway, yes, this is also, now I've forgotten the name of course, because I always do, but look at this beauty. This again was a seed from the Wisley Gardens seed scheme, and I grew it from in the allotment in the greenhouse this spring in the allotment this morning, in the greenhouse this spring, and it's grown and it's been flowering a lot, and it's quite amazing, isn't it? It's some sort of all that from a seed. I do love it when you put something in as a tiny seed in the spring, and you can never really contemplate how big it might get and how it could grow and how it can do that, but over the time it does, and then look at it. Amazing. Yeah, always. No, I mean, I've been doing this gardening lark for half a century, still amazed that seeds can do that, and seeds can do this. This is only about 4 seeds. Look at that. Can't ever believe it. Anyway, right, I'm going to meander back through my paths, which are barely paths, but you can just about see there is a path there, and then I'll wander around here. So this is my brassicas. Oh, I've just seen the wind has caught them, so some of them are falling over a bit, so that might be a job. Oh my lord, yeah, they are. So this is purple sprouting broccoli in there, so that needs a bit of help, I think. I'll have to try and get in there and give them some support. Then over here we've got fairly, they look quite all right, but they're so lots of these are sprouts, so you can probably just start to see the sprouts are coming along through there. There's a yep, there they are. So they're doing well. These, I mean, they're magnificent plants, always magnificent plants. And then over here, now I thought this was calabrese or broccoli, but it looks a bit purple sprouting, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to grab some of this tonight and eat it, make a nice pasta dish. Look, it's bursting forth. I thought it was only going to be quite small, but it's growing very well. It's enjoyed the rain. So this is, so basically the brassicas are doing, I mean, they're certainly had a nice growing season. So I'm gonna use some of that broccoli tonight, whatever sort of broccoli it is. Here is another of the containers, which has got more garlic in there as well. It's had French beans in this year, and then it's ready for garlic, more garlic. Well, the garlic's already in, and then now raspberries. So these are the autumn raspberries. I mean, they've been fruiting for weeks, still going strong because it's so mild. So I'm going to do a last harvest of a few of them today, and then you can see they're starting to look tired now, not surprisingly, aren't we all? So that'll probably be the end of them after today, and then they'll stop, and then I'll chop them back in the spring and off they'll go again. And then this part of the allotment, well, it could be argued it's not that tidy. Look at these are verbascums or mulleins. They seeded themselves, and normally they flower in the spring, but they've romped away, absolutely. I mean, their seeds are almost microscopic, and look what comes of them. Amazing. They're normally biennial, but these came up and flowered in the same year, so that's quite, I have no idea what's going on. I think with the weather and everything, and last year they don't know what's going on either. So these are beds. These have had beans. You can still see some of the French beans. They look a bit sort of messy, sort of, but they've just got sort of everything. Also, these forget-me-not seedlings, dandelions, nasturtiums, there, broad beans. So the French beans. So it's quite, but it's good to leave them in. They just protect the soil, and I'm not particularly bothered about clearing them up until the new year. Really, I'll just let them protect the soil. In here, same story again. The verbascums, mountainous, and then but also look, some pumpkins here, and another one there. I thought they were supposed to be butternut, but they're not butternut, but they look quite butternutty in terms of colour. So maybe they are like butternut, but not the normal not the normal shape. It's funny how the more times you say butternut, it seems stranger and stranger. Anyway, that's there. It started to rain. Good timing. So these are loads of. I mean, aren't they beautiful? These are verbascums that will flower next year. So at some point I'm going to move those to the bed. I mean, they're just beautiful. They're beautiful just as they are, even without the flowers. So they're beautiful. The pond is. I'm probably speeding up it now because it's raining quite a lot. But that's got some that water hawthorn, I think, that's flowering. But that's where the newt came from. There's frogs in there, and yeah, it's a lovely little wildlife haven. It's got this grass bank all the way around it, so that anything going in and out can hide. The nettles will die back soon, and I'll chop those back. But yeah, a lovely little pond, and brings lots of happiness, and has lots of dragonflies and damselflies emerging out of there. So yeah, lovely. Then over here, another pumpkin, two pumpkins, little ones. This is another area of sort of pollinator stuff. There's been lots of oregano, lots of, I think, achilleas in here, vetches, and all sorts of stuff. And my mind's gone completely blank at the moment. But yes, lots of lovely wild stuff here, and a sort of wildish hedge behind. So this has been good. Again, it's looking, it's at the gone past it bit time now when it's getting ready for the winter. But lots of seeds and stuff coming out of that. But really, really lovely. Yeah, lots of wildflowers. Down here, this is. So I mentioned the Viper's bugloss. So this is a seed, or two Viper's bugloss, that would have come from last year, and that's going to flower next year. So I will at some point try and move that away from this bed, I think, because I wanted to seed itself somewhere else. So, but a beautiful, look at that, beautiful, healthy Viper's bugloss, ready for next year. Say a biennial. Then this bit. So this is there's chives in here. It's all looking quite beautifully messy, I would describe it. rampantly messy, because there's lots of stuff. If you're an insect or a creature, there's lots of lovely stuff going on here. If you're a human and you like things to look very tidy, it's probably it's uncomfortable to look at, but I'm quite happy with it, because there's lots of habitats and lots of places for creatures to go into and hide and carry on their life cycles. Lots and lots of stuff. This is, oh, by the way, look, this is a wild rose that's come from my hedgerow bit that seeded itself here. So I'll try and move that in the winter into the hedge bit. And then over here, so this is, there's my parsnips. So under there there will be some parsnips for the winter. They've been looking good all year, so I'm looking forward very much to digging those up some more. This, I should know, I can't remember what it is. It's a wildflower. I mean, look at the size of it. It's beautiful. Look at those leaves. They're absolutely amazing. I should know what it is. I will look it up. But I can't bear to do anything to stop it, even though it's taking up, blocks the path, taking up all sorts of space, but it's just magnificent. So anyway, that's that. And then over here, so we've got some beetroot. So yeah, quite nice, because I've planted them quite close together, so they're quite small, most of them, which is great, because you know when they get too big, they're a bit too much. So yeah, so the beetroot are all so ready to harvest. I'm going to romp into the greenhouse. Oh, that's the Viper's bugloss that I mentioned. That's the tops of the seed, so that will be seeding itself everywhere, so my neighbours, I'm sure, will be grateful for that. I've got a gooseberry in there somewhere. That definitely needs a bit of control, because otherwise it will be outcompeted and won't be able to fruit next year. I'm not sure we can barely see that, but there is a gooseberry there. Anyway, let me jump into the greenhouse. Where? So there we go. Oh, that's better. So there's a few pumpkins that I've harvested. I've already eaten one. So the grey one is Crown Prince. I can't remember the other one, but so these are, well, not pumpkins, gourds, I think, or squashes. Squashes is the phrase. So these ones are really good for cooking. Really, really good for cooking. Yeah, so they're stored here nice and dry at the moment. It is forecast to get quite cold, so but it should be right in here. Then the very end of tomatoes. So I've still got they've still been ripening, you see, even here. But the plants are looking a little bit tired. The greenhouse is quite frankly a mess. Yeah, there's no two ways about it. But I still love it. So, and then over here, so Sri, another allotment holder, he gave me some of his aubergine plants, and I've done nothing to them apart from water them. But look, I've got aubergines, so I need to do something with them. I'm gonna harvest them today, because it's going to get cold. I'm going to make a nice, as a Greek aubergine dip. Can't remember the name. I think it begins with M. Oh, look at that! Look at that. So I'm going to harvest these, use them. I've got I had some other peppers as well. These are sweet peppers. I've got these chili peppers. It's a little bit bizarre. So these are. I was just thinking, it's pouring down now, and I was here to sow my broad beans. Got distracted to do a video. Now it's pouring down. So anyway, we'll worry about that another time. Yes. So these are beautiful. I sowed these from seeds. These are Italian chili peppers. Beautiful plants. Look at these, healthy. Not a single sign or sight of a bloody chili. No peppers anywhere. Look, can't see. I can only assume that they're insect pollinated, and no insect, but insects are in here. So no idea. I mean, lovely plants. Very pretty. Not a single. No, just looking at that. Not a single chili on any of them, and I've got 6 plants, so that's not right. And then finally in here, this is always a joy. So down here, they love the soil to be damp and warm, and it's my little field of basil. So I'm going to harvest all of that today, and I'm going to make pesto, the whole lot of it, and then eat some of it and store some of it. But it's all, once it gets going, it's so beautiful. I mean, the fragrance is absolutely amazing. It's so, you come in there and you waft it around, and oh, it's amazing. And I've got, I mean, this is self-seeded. This is, I think, fennel. I've got more fennel there, seeded everywhere. I do love the bonkersness of things just self-seeding everywhere. I mean, it is lovely. Oh look, there's a next to pumpkins, there's also another Viper's bugloss that's somehow decided to seed itself in there. It's not had any water pretty much. Oh well, it gets some water when I water things on the shelves and it passes through. But look, it looks healthy as anything. Healthy as anything. So yeah, Viper's B plus there. That'll have to be moved, I should think. Yeah. So there we go. From a wet greenhouse now. Yeah, that's a little update of what's going on my allotment, and I'll that sums up what the weather should be like and is hopefully getting towards a bit sort of damp, autumnal, yeah, and there's my lovely bench. All right then, see you, bye.